Hey lovers, on today's episode of Love Larn, we've got a new package to unbox for the community build. Let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Michael from Love Larn here. Thanks as always for joining us. On today's episode, we're going to open up this package and see what's inside. Now this comes to us courtesy of Petrie over at CETE Parts. Cam's one of our sponsors for the community build, and he's very kindly sent us a package full of, at the very least, nuts and bolts for the rebuild machine, and I believe there might be some bearings in here as well. We'll just have to open it up and find out. Rather than just do a straight unboxing, which we've done before with Cameron's stuff, I'll link that video above if you want to check it out. I thought it would be more fun to reproduce what I consider to be a very iconic image. Now, if you've ever browsed Cameron's eBay store, or even if you haven't, you may have seen it around, you've probably come across an image of Cameron's bolt kits laid out in a sort of two-dimensional format on a piece of cardboard, and I love that image. I think that image represents to me everything that we're doing in Scott Bonnar rebuild land, and I really love that image. So I thought it would be a lot of fun to just sort of take everything under the bag today, lay it out as Cameron's done as per that photo, and see how far we get with it, because I don't know, just because I thought it would be fun, and I love that image. I wanted to reproduce that image. So I'll just mention Cam does have bolt kits for different machines. For the twin model and the solid deck machines, they're obviously different. And I believe Cam also sells stainless kits if you're in a stainless sort of mood, or a zinc nut and bolt kit as well, if that's better suited to your budget. So a couple different options for you to check out there, and these things are worth their weight in gold. Small package, but there's a lot of good stuff in here, and in terms of making your rebuild easier, this is one of the things that's going to do it. Rather than having to fiddle with corroded nuts and bolts that are missing or damaged, or even just an older style of nut, for example, that's not a nylon. Having the new gear just makes the reassembly go so much smoother. Cam's also known for putting everything in little baggies with labels on them, so you know exactly what nut and bolt goes where on the machine. So it's almost like he's in the shed holding your hand, telling you what to do as you enter. So these things are so cool, and thank you, Cam, again for sending this stuff along for the community build. If you're not aware, we're doing a community build, which is a started life as a groomer, maybe now a verti. But anyway, we've done the teardown, we've progressed some of the other stages of the machine. There's videos around all this coming, but meanwhile we've got parts coming in, and I wanted to share the experience of first look at some of these parcels with all of you guys. So today we're doing the bolt kit. Let's get into it. Bearings, thingies. Well, Cam, thanks for sending along all the bearings and stuff. We'll look at those separately. So cool. This is what we're recreating today. This is the all-rounder on Cam's site. So let's check it out. See what we can do. This is the solid top Scott Bonnar bolt kit in stainless from Cam, so good stuff. Alright, let's get the stuff roughly in position. We've got red caps, intermediate clutch, sole plate, keys, wheel drive nuts, over there. Cam sent me the works, they go there. Chain cover, screws, mounting bolts, front roller pivot nuts. I think they're gonna go down over here. It goes down here. Engine mounting bracket. Engine mounting bolts. Go up the top. Rear roller. Wowee. Cam is so awesome. Clutch body. They are there. Handlebar to chassis. Somewhere in here, I think. Chain side, drive side. Rear roller bearing housing. Engine sprocket bearing housing. Alright. I think we've about got it. got it done now. It's not perfect, but I think I've got most of it sorted. So got a bit of room left down here. I'm gonna throw the bearings down here next and just try and complete the picture for the sake of our community build. I just wanted to say, this bolt kit is so incredibly comprehensive. You're not going to be left wanting for anything in here. I don't know, just gobsmacked every time I pull one of these out of the packages. They're just, everything is there and it's all nice and new and ready to go. So what else? Yeah, I think the only challenge is going to be whether I can remember what everything's for now that I've taken them out of the baggies, the labeled baggies. So I don't know, wish me luck on that one. I'm going to need it. Alright, let me see if I can walk you through everything in here now. There's obviously a lot of gear. Alright, let's start down the bottom. Obviously, we've got bearings. We've got bearings for the clutch body. That one's for the end of the PTO shaft where the sprocket goes. That needs to be greased. Those two are real bearings, I believe. Those are rear roller bearings. Intermediate clutch and intermediate clutch. And we've got some moly grease. Over here, we've got our height adjusters for our reel. They've been taken apart, obviously, so there's a pair of them, one for each side. We've got our little pins for the clutch lever. Down here, we've got 7 of the flathead bolts for the bed knife. And we've got the long operating lever, the long operating bolt for the drive clutch, the intermediate clutch. These are our chain case cover screws, bolts, whatever. What do we call these ones? Little pivot bolts, I guess, for the reel bearing holders, the cutter bearing holders. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's see, we've got these guys. They are, can't remember. We've got the rear roller bolts. These secure the chariot wheel, the ratchet box to the rim of the rear roller. We've got the little collar bolts for the rear roller as well as the middle one for the ratchet box, the pawl holder, sorry. These are the clutch body bolts and nylon nuts for putting them together. We've got 3 of these guys and washers. They're slightly different to these 3. They're for the drive side and the non-drive side. Rear roller bearing cups, if you want to call them that. I'm looking for the handlebar mounting bolts. I think they're these 3. These cup head bolts with washers and nuts for attaching your handlebars to the side of the machine. And over here we've got the 4 bolts for the tops of the cutter housing. That's the little thing that goes on the end. Up here we've got the little shaft, the little, what do you call these things? Little clippy dippies. And that thing for the operating lever on the clutch. Woodruff keys, of course, one big one, rest small, shaft key, red caps for the chain cover, and height adjuster knob. These are the engine mounting bolts. Got 2 of these. I'm struggling to remember why we've got 2. One of them goes through the handlebar. I'm pretty sure one of them's shorter than the other. They might be slightly different. They pass through the handlebar halves basically to keep them from folding down. That one's our clutch adjustment screw. These 3 mount the clutch for 1, 2, 3 to the deck of the machine. This guy's for the handlebar cover plate. This one I cannot remember for the life of me. What else have we covered? These 2, I want to say the front roller. What else? Couple nuts and washers for the ends of our shafts, I believe. I think that's about it. So what a kit, what a legend Cam is to put all this stuff together for us. It makes it so easy. Rather than going down to the bearing shop yourself and trying to source all this stuff, this is all, I must add, the correct imperial threads for these machines. So they're not the metric equivalents, which would be, easier in some regards, but for those of us who want to do a genuine rebuild or restoration, more specifically, that's not me, but for those who do, having access to those bolts, especially in the stainless, is really handy. So Cam has done a lot of work to put this together for us. And, you know, it shows, I mean, even in the details, all these little bags, everything's sorted, but they're labeled as well. And there's, you know, some of these, it's not a good example, but some of these bags have extra instructions as to what to do in terms of, you know, lubricating that bearing because it's not lubricated, using moly grease where it's required as well. And, you know, even little details like this bearing, this is the clutch bearing, the inner clutch bearing, the clutch body thrust bearing, and Cam's pre-lubed that for us. So that's awesome, because that's an easy one. I don't know, it's a funny looking bearing and it's easy to forget about. So to have that, you know, all ready to go, that's such a huge help. Guys, I just wanted to add here that Cam sources the bolts and bearings for these kits from local and international suppliers out of the UK and the US. And he tells me he couldn't put his kits together as they are today without these suppliers. For example, did you know the rear roller bearing is a custom design? I believe it's a sleeve bearing, and you may find it tricky to find off the shelf at your local shop. The hardened intermediate clutch adjustment washer is also a custom locally manufactured part. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thanks as always for watching, and thank you, Cameron, for sending us the stainless bolt kit. Absolutely amazing. A huge favor for the community build, and yeah, can't thank you enough. This stuff is second to none. Guys, if you're planning your own rebuild, get yourselves one of these. You can go with your original bolts if you want to. You can go down to the bearing shop and source all this stuff yourself, but it's a lot easier just to get in touch with Cam. Speaking of which, you can find him on eBay. The name of his shop is OPE Parts. He's also on Facebook under CETE Parts. Don't worry, I'll drop all the links down in the video description as well as over at the lovelarn.com website, so you can find him easily in future. Speaking of the community build, if you haven't subscribed to the Love Larn YouTube channel already, please feel free to do so, because there's plenty more content to come. It's coming slowly but surely. So yeah, hit subscribe, you won't regret it. If you enjoyed the video today, drop us a like, please. And if you have any comments or questions, down below in the comments section is the best place for them. I'll get back to you if I can. Otherwise, Cameron might, or someone else in the community, of course, as well, might feel free to jump in there. Plenty of resources. Speaking of which, we're also over on Facebook and Instagram for all of the content that falls outside the sort of normal production schedule of videos. So check us out over there if you haven't already. Anyway, lovers, that's it for today. Thanks as always for watching. We will see you next time.